Alright, Mr. Bahork here, and we are going to learn about simple interest. Keyword there being that it is simple interest. Now, just to give you a heads up, we're talking about simple interest today. This is not exactly how real life banks and stuff like that use money. They use much more complicated formulas to calculate your interest using a number known as E and all sorts of cool stuff like that, and natural logarithms and all cool stuff. But we are just going to talk about simple interest. That's it. So let's discuss what is interest first. Well, interest is kind of like, well, it's a fee for the use of money, is a way to think about it. So let's say I have Sally here. Whoops. Here's my awesome Sally. Wait, make sure you give her hair. Okay, here's Sally. And I'm going to go up to Sally and I'm going to say, okay, Sally, see, I need $5. So give me my $5, Sally. So, and Sally says, absolutely, sure thing. Because, you know what, you're awesome and I need to give you $5. But, okay, so Sally gives me $5. But is that really convenient for Sally? No. Okay? She doesn't like loaning out money. Okay? It's not very convenient for Sally. So here's what Sally says. Sally says, okay, well, you know what? Next week, I want you to pay me my $5 back, and, you know what? Give me an extra dollar. Okay? So I got to pay her $6. And give me an extra dollar because that was really inconvenient for me to loan you $5. So she gives me a little extra fee. Well, that extra dollar, that is interest. So the extra $1 I have to pay to Sally, that's interest. Okay? It's like a fee for the use of money. So there could be a fee for the use of money, or okay, you can earn interest. So, for example, if I put my money into the bank, okay, depending on which bank I choose, let's say I choose Wachovia. Okay, well, Wachovia is like, hey, thanks for choosing Wachovia and putting your money in Wachovia as compared to all the other guys. Thanks for choosing us. So Wachovia actually, they'll give you money. They'll actually give you a very, very small one. Let's say they do like 0.25% back. Okay, based on how much you put in. So if you put in $1,000, they could give you a very small percentage of that back, and you earn interest. Okay, so it's kind of like a fee, again, for the use of money, except you earn the fee. All right, so with all that discussion with interest and whatnot, let's just go ahead and jump right into the formula for simple interest. So let me erase all this good stuff. And the formula for simple interest is actually a really fun formula. I like this one. And I'm going to use a lot of different colors so I can express this. I, and I is going to stand for interest. Oops, I totally spelled interest wrong. Whoops, there we go. Okay, so I is interest, and this is going to equal, let's use blue for equals P. P stands for the principal. Okay, not like the principal of the school, okay, but principal is like the initial amount that you deposit or put in the bank. Okay, the initial amount. Okay, think of it as like the starting amount. P times R. Okay, and R is the rate. Okay, this is usually given as a percent, but when we calculate it, okay, we convert it to a decimal when calculating. And finally, T. And T is time. And this time is in years. And make sure you notice that it's in years. So I is equal to P times R times T. So P times R times T. There's an easy way to remember this formula, and yes, I get laughed at all the time for saying this, but okay, I is per T. I is Purdy. I is Purdy. Okay, so if you remember I is Purdy, you got the simple interest formula. I equals P times R times T. So let's do an example. Example 1. Okay, so let's say you just got $2,000. Awesome. Hooray. $2,000, and you're going to put it in the bank, and you're going to keep it there and not touch it for 3 solid years. Okay, so you're not going to touch it for 3 years. While your money is sitting in the bank, you earn an interest rate of 3.5%. All right, so what we want to know is, well, what is the simple interest? Okay, what is the interest that you are going to earn? How much are you going to earn for putting your money in the bank for that long with that rate? Well, let's plug all this stuff in. So P, and let's go ahead and write this down. I equals P times R times T. So P would be 2,000. So we're going to have 2,000 times, okay, the R is going to be 3.5%. And how do we write 3.5% as a decimal? Well, that's 0.035. They move the decimal 2 times over to the left. And finally, the T is 3 years. So times 3. Okay, so we're doing 2,000 times 0.035 times 3. And when you do that, I got an interest rate of the interest of $210. So after putting your money in the bank for 3 years, you earn an extra $210. That's exciting. So just for it sitting there, that's it. That's all. Just letting it sit there for 3 solid years, you earn an extra $210 for doing nothing, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so let's do a couple more examples. These are fun. So let's erase all this. You probably hear me scratching around. All right, change the brush size back. And all right, so example 2. Cool. Example 2. So let's say, let's change it up a little bit. You know what? Let's say you get $1,250. Okay, that's your initial. You get $1,250, and you're going to put it in the bank for 4 years, and you're not going to touch it. After the 4 years is over, you earn an extra $350. Okay, so you earn an extra $350. Now, what I want to know is, what was the interest rate? Ooh. Okay, so let's write the formula. I equals PRT. I is Purdy. Okay, so the extra 350, that's I. So I is equal to $350. That's the extra amount that you earn. Okay, the P, the initial amount, is $1,250. Okay, you started with $1,250. We do not know R, so I'm going to make that yellow. We don't know R. But we do know T. It's 4 years. All right, so this looks a little bit messy. Okay, it says 350 equals 1250 R4. Well, let's rearrange it a little bit. Let's make it look a little bit prettier. So we have, I'll use my same colors, 350 equals, and instead of 1250 R4, well, it's multiplication, so we can rearrange it so it says 1250 times 4 times R. And we can do 1250 times 4. Okay, when I do that, I got 5,000. So do this right here. 1250 times 4, that's 5,000. So now we have 5,000 R, oops, yellow, R, okay, equals $350. Now, how do I solve for R? Well, I'm going to have to divide both sides by 5,000, just like a regular one-step equation. So let's divide both sides by 5,000. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 350 divided by 5,000. When I do that, I got 0.07. Okay, well, wait a second. I wanted the interest rate, and I want it as a percent. So we need to convert this to a percent. So as a percent, that would be 7%. So the interest rate is 7% for that example. Let's do one more example. Just one more, I promise. So, because I know they're really exciting. So I don't want you to overload on simple interest problems, because these are super awesome. All right, so example 3. All right, so let's say a deposit of $3,000 becomes, whoa, I don't know what just happened there, $3,810 after 6 years. What was the simple interest rate? So $3,000 becomes $3,810 after 6 years. So let's focus on some things that we know. Okay, we know the time. Time is equal to 6. Okay, so we know that part. Okay, well, we know what it started as. It started as 3,000, so that's the P. P is 3,000. Now, be careful. This number right here is suspicious. That is not the interest. Remember, the interest is that extra amount that you earned. So if it started at 3,000 and now it's 3,810, then the interest must be the difference, or $810. So the extra amount, they earned $810. I think now we can find the interest rate. So let's plug all our numbers in. So 810, I equals PRT. Let's write that out to the side. I equals PRT. So 810 equals 3,000 times R times T. So 3,000 times 6 is what we want to do. We're going to do this one times this one. 3,000 times 6. So when we do that, 3,000 times 6, and I'll do that in magenta. That gives me 18,000. Okay, now we have 18,000 R equals 810. So I'm going to divide both sides by 18,000. 3 and 18. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 810 divided by 18,000. Let's do that real quick. Divided by 18,000. Just want to double check, make sure I did the right thing. Sweet. Alright, so I got 0.045, and to convert that to a percent, because the question was what's the percent, the interest rate as a percent, that would be 4.5% as the interest rate. Cool. I'm Mr. Bork, and that was simple interest.